Hi guys, welcome back to Steep Riderz. We've got something a bit different here today. We're going to be talking about how to get a motocross bike, a pit bike and an import all road registered. I'll pass you over to Max now and he'll tell you some more about it.
Hi, my name's Max and here we have three very different types of motorcycles. We've got a Chinese pit bike, we've got a Suzuki PV50 1979 and we've got a Kawasaki KX80 which is 1991. To start off with, what you want to find is the DVLA form on the Nova reference number. So you want to go on the DVLA website and find how to register your vehicle on Nova. And what you have to do is fill out your engine number, your VIN number, and several other pieces of information which you'll be able to find online or you'll have on your bike itself. So once that's filled out, it will take about 5 days for DVLA to contact you, and you'll need to provide a certificate or a receipt to prove that you've bought the bike. If you don't have one, you can handwrite one, but it would be preferable to get one off the person you bought it off or from the dealership itself. After you've got the Nova reference number, that should come through in about 5 to 6 days after. After you have the Nova reference number, you'll want to get a dating certificate, so you either contact Honda, Kawasaki or whatever make of your motocross bike is, and you want to find the, I think it's usually about a fee of £55 that you have to pay. It might be slightly more, I think KTM is slightly more, around £90. But you'll have to get the dating certificate, or the certificate of newness is sometimes called. But once you have that, that is the majority of your paperwork done. What you have to then apply for is you have to go through for a Daytime MOT. It's easy for motocross bikes, so you want to use DOT approved tyres, off-road tyres, or even supermoto wheels. And you want to use, you will need a horn, so you can make a horn wiring circuit pretty easily. Use a little standalone battery, make up a circuit, and then that should add a reflector on the rear for your number plate. But obviously you won't have a number plate, so you have to find somewhere to mount it on the back of the vehicle. But after it is mounted, it should pass through an MOT fine. So after you've got your MOT certificate, your Nova reference number and your data certificate, then what you want to do is you want to put everything in a folder. You want to then fill out the V55/5 form from the DVLA website, and there you'll fill out your make, model, colour, CC, everything like that. Once that's all filled out, there's a video online how to do that sort of more easily. And you want to put trials exempt as the category of bike, so then you don't have to do the MSVA test or anything like that, which is much easier. But your ground clearance has to be over a certain height to be registered as an enduro. But the pit bikes, when they're a CRF 70, will be over the ground clearance and seat height, and any motocross bike will be, so there's no issues there with doing that. Yeah, so online on YouTube there's a few videos. There's some dedicated to the actual Nova filling out process. That's a very good video to watch. That covers start to finish on actually registering it with the DVLA to get a Nova reference number, because it can be kind of tricky, but that video will cover the whole lot of that. And also by the same bloke on YouTube, there's a video on how to fill out the V55-5 form. And that will show how to fill it out as an enduro, so you miss the SVA test, MSVA test, and fill out sort you out for the whole process, start to finish, and it makes it a lot easier. That's what I followed to begin with to get these two sort of road legal. But yeah, that will cover the process of the Nova and the V55-5 form. When you're doing a pit bike, it's slightly more difficult as they're obviously a Chinese import. So what you want to do is, if you're going to be registering a pit bike, you want to be finding one from Welsh Pit Bikes or Stomp or any of the main brand ones, because then you can apply for a certificate of newness or a certificate of construction on them, and that will replace your or be a substitute for your certificate of newness from, say, Kawasaki, Honda, KTM, those kind of people. So it's slightly more difficult, but it can be done, but usually only on the CRF 70 frames or up, so the CRF 110s, as they have the ground clearance in the wheel size, the 17-inch front and 14-inch rear. So that'll be the process of registering a pit bike instead of a motocross bike. So it's very similar, but it's slightly more difficult. After the paperwork's filled out, you need to send it to DVLA with a £55 cheque for the actual certificates, and then £20 road tax, or however much your road tax is for the year. But that will be covered once again on the DVLA website, how much you need to pay for that. For the imports, it's slightly different. This is a 1979, so it's tax and MOT exempt. So if you have anything pre-1980 or 40 years old, you don't have to get the MOT certificate on that, which makes it a lot easier. So when these are imported, if you buy them once they've already been imported, because I'm not too sure how to actually get them into the country, once they're here, they should come with a Nova reference number already, so you won't have to do them like you have to do on the motocross bikes. So once you've got the Nova reference number when you buy it, if it's pre-1980, you won't have to get an MOT on it at all. If it is after 1980, you'll have to get a MOT on it, just like the off-road bikes. But once that's all done, once again, all the forms together, V55-5 form from DVLA, fill out all the paperwork, £55 registration and the tax for the year, and or if it's tax MOT exempt, you will not have to pay the tax fee. But then you send all of that off, and within usually 6 weeks you'll get a V5 in your name. So with the motocross bikes, when you're doing an MOT, it's much easier to go down the route of a daytime MOT. So yeah, all you'll need for that is DOT approved tyres. You'll need a reflector on the rear and a horn circuit. You don't need lights, you don't need a brake light. I know there's a lot of sort of conspiracy whether you do need one or not, but no, you do not need a rear brake light at all. So yeah, horn, road legal tyres, and a reflector on the rear, and that's you covered. If you want to go down the route, it's slightly more difficult of getting a full MOT. You can buy wiring circuits for these. So judging by the make and model of your bike, you can sometimes find these wiring looms for them that bolt onto your stator, or an aftermarket stator, or even a standalone. So it's just a battery, and you run it off the battery until the battery dies. But they can be found, and then that'll be through for a full MOT, just like a standard motorcycle or car. With the imports, usually most of the time they'll have lights on them already, so put them through for a standard MOT as you would with any vehicle. As long as the lights works, horn, yada yada yada, you should be fine.